Hello, welcome to Steve Knows Ball. This is Steve Knows Ball, the YouTube page. I want to thank you for joining me tonight. We are covering the Big Three. Tomorrow is going to be week 1 of season 9 of the Big Three. I am the Big Three's biggest fan. So let's jump right into it. We are looking at week 1, the Detroit Amps versus the DC Trilogy. The Detroit Amps, they're running into a little bit of an issue. Joe Johnson is going to be out for the year. He is still dealing with complications from the knee injury he suffered last year. So he is not ready. He is going to be out for the year. This was probably not anticipated, so it put a damper on things for the Detroit Amps. They are still going to be my personal favorite to win the chip. I just think Nasir Kaur is going to be on a mission this year. After falling short the last couple of years, I just think his mindset is just going to be to run through a brick wall this year. In addition to that, we also have Dante Green joining them. We have Corey Brewer. We know how versatile Corey Brewer is, how much of a stopper he is. Whatever you need, Corey Brewer is going to get it to you. He's won a championship a couple years ago. Chuck Garcia's returned to the Big Three. And we have Dakari Tucker filling in for Joe Johnson. Dakari Tucker is a last-minute addition. I don't know how much of an impact he's going to make in week 1. That's going to remain to be seen. They're going to be battling the DC Trilogy, who is led by Steven Jackson, 2-time Big Three champion. They have three first-time players in the Big Three. They have Jordan McRae, they have Willie Reed, and they have James Johnson. They have them joining Earl Clark and Jalen Johnson, who are 2 Big Three vets, especially Earl Clark, who's probably the best defender in Big Three history, if you ask me. This is going to be an interesting dynamic, getting those new guys acclimated to the rules of the Big Three. The speed of the game and the physicality is going to be a different level for these guys. So as far as a prediction, I am looking at the Detroit Amps 50, the DC Trilogy 45. I just think, the new guys from the DC Trilogy, they're going to catch on a little late. They'll probably make a little run later on in the game, but I just think the Detroit Amps will be too far ahead and they'll put it away later. We're looking at, as far as game 2, we're looking at game 2. Game 2 is going to be the LA Riot versus the Miami 305. And you guys remember this game last year. It had the entertaining intro between Lance Stevenson and Dwight Howard. They both got ejected. They got a little bit of a scuffle. That's the scuffle that went viral. Millions of views across all the social media platforms. So they're getting reintroduced this year, week 1. Same team that Miami 305. They're running it back with the same team. They won the championship. That's the rules of the Big Three. If you win the championship, you get to run it back with the same team that you won it with. So that's what we're looking at. We're looking at Michael Beasley. We're looking at Lance Stevenson. We're looking at Mario Chalmers. We're looking at Sean Williams. But there is a damper. Reggie Evans. There will be no Reggie Evans tomorrow. Reggie Evans is going to be out tomorrow. That's going to be a damper on things. Dwight Howard should have his way. I'm not saying Sean Williams, who's the defensive player of the year, shouldn't, have somewhat of an impact on Dwight, but there's only so much he can do. He's not going to have that extra reinforcement in Reggie Evans to put his elbow in Dwight's back and irritate him. That's not going to be there tomorrow. So as far as tomorrow, I got an upset alert. I got the LA Riot 51. I got the Miami 305 48. I got Jordan Crawford hitting the 3 over Mario Chalmers to win that game. I got them winning 51-48. The third game of the day, we have the Houston Rig Hands versus the Chicago Triplets. The Houston Rig Hands are going to be led by second-year coach Calvin Murphy. I think he's going to be a lot more tactical this year. Last year, it looks like he was kind of filling things out. There are, kind of a deer in headlights type of thing going on, but I think this year he's going to be a lot more steady, a lot more tactical. He's going to have Derek Favors, an NBA vet, who was a lottery pick, a big guy, a banger, and we all know how important bangers are in this league, in this Big Three. He's also going to have Jonathan Simmons, Kevin Murphy, Adam Drexler, and Isaiah Austin. So this is a team full of Big Three vets in addition to Derek Favors. So he's going to be surrounded by Big Three vets. Who's going to be teaching him the ropes. They're going to carry a lot of the scoring load, especially Kevin Murphy and Jonathan Simmons. If he does his part and bangs down low and, does his thing, he should help them along the way this year. And they should be a very formidable team this year. Chicago Triplets. What can I say about the Triplets, man? They have, to me, the most formidable front court duo in the league. We're looking at Trez. We're looking at Brandon Moss, 2 high flyers, 2 rim protectors, 2 defenders, 2 guys. If they get you on the block, if they get you near the rim, they're putting you through the rim. They are very entertaining to watch. Brandon Moss catches alley-oops. We know what Trez Harrell can do. They came up just short last year in the championship, that great championship against Miami 305, where Chalmers hit the 3 in the corner. Nas, you see Nas, the aftermath of that, Nas just sitting on the court with his head down. That was probably one of the best Big 3 games I'd ever watched. So we got them returning, but they're returning without Nas Core. Nas Core is playing for Detroit this year. But taking his place, they have Leandro Barbosa. We all know the Brazilian Blur. The Brazilian Blur will be taking the place of Nas Core this year. It's going to be interesting to see exactly how much he fills in for him this year, as far as, carrying and shouldering that load. So it's going to be very interesting. Also, the son of Clyde the Glide Drexler, the commissioner, Adam Drexler, is going to be joining the team this year. So they have a very formidable squad, a team full of veterans. Both teams are going to be full of veterans. So if you're looking for a prediction for me, I got to go with the Chicago Triplets, man. I got to go with those high flyers, Trez and Brandon Moss, putting a couple guys through the rim. I got them winning fairly easily. I got them winning 50-40. Now, the last game of the day, we got the Boston Ball Hogs going up against the Dallas Power. The Dallas Power led by Nancy Lieberman Klein. She's won the championship before. She has probably the most well coached teams. If you ask me, the Big 3. They're always very well prepared. They always come in with a game plan. They're very tactical. Everybody knows their role, and that is a sign of Nancy Lieberman Klein just getting those guys all on the same page. In addition to Glenn Rice, in addition to Greg Monroe, in addition to TJ Klein, those are always the mainstays with Dallas Power. They also have, in addition to that, we have Elijah Stewart joining them this year. Elijah Stewart is a veteran of the Big 3, longtime veteran of the Big 3. He's joining them this year. He's won a championship with the Enemies a few years back. He played for the LA Riot last year. This is the first year that he's not going to be with Jordan Crawford, so that's going to be very interesting. So we're going to look at him and see how he does without Jordan Crawford, or second without Jordan Crawford. Excuse me, I may have to look into that. But him and Jordan Crawford, they won before in this league. They won a lot of games in this league. They won a championship in this league. So seeing him without Jordan Crawford is going to be a little bit of an adjustment. But this is the name to watch out for: Cam Smith. Cam Smith is the guy. When Joe Johnson went out last year, when he hurt his knee, Cam Smith came in and took the league by storm. This guy, he scores from all 3 levels. He can get to the basket fairly easily. He one dribble pull up mid-range game. He can hit the 3. To me, he was the best newcomer I had seen in the Big 3 since Joe Johnson and Michael Beasley. That's how good he was. I think he got called. If I'm not mistaken, I think he got called to the LA Clippers G League affiliate. I don't know how that worked out there, but I'm glad that he's back in the Big 3. He's joined the Dallas Power. That is going to be a huge addition to the Dallas Power. Look out for them. They're going to be one of the top teams in the Big 3 because of him being on the team, along with Glenn Rice Jr. They're taking on the Boston Ball Hogs, led by Jeremy Pargo, Garland Green, Ray Nixon, Quincy Miller, and Deshaun Stevens. Excuse me. These are all Big 3 vets. Everybody on this team has been a vet of the Big 3. There are no newcomers here. They're led by Gary Payton, GP the Glove. He's won the Big 3 before. He won a championship a couple of years ago in Bivouac one with Corey Brewer. So he knows what it takes to win. He knows what it takes to get teams on track. This is going to be a very, very good game as well. Very physical game. If they're coached by GP, they're going to be very physical. But we got to go with predictions. And the prediction I'm looking to make here, I got to go with Power. I'm going to go with Power 50. I'm going to go Ball Hogs 45. I just think the duo of Glenn Rice Jr. and Cam Smith, I just think those 2 dudes are going to be way too much for the Ball Hogs to handle, even with Gary Payton and his tactical defensive plans. I just think that's just too many bucks between Glenn Rice Jr. and Cam Smith. Then you got Moose Monroe down low, just cleaning up everything if they miss anything. So I think Power is going to take that one over the Ball Hogs. So to recap, I got the Detroit Amps over the DC Trilogy. I got the LA Riot over Miami 305. I got the Chicago Triplets over the Houston Rig Hands. And I got the Dallas Power over the Ball Hogs. This is going to be a fun-filled weekend. I'm going to be there with my wife. It's going to be our anniversary. We're going to catch some Big 3 games. We're going to hit a concert later on. So I'm going to be sharing clips from the game. Hopefully I get a couple of pictures of some of the guys from the games. I just want to say thank you. Please click like and subscribe. Thank you for joining me tonight, and you should be seeing me very, very soon. Thanks for joining Steve Knows Ball. You have a great one.